Hey everyone. You're thinking about a warehouse order picker role.
Okay.
Maybe you like picture yourself moving around a lot all the time,
Mhm.
or maybe you're someone who just likes knowing how products get from point A to point B.
Right.
And it's obviously a really important part of the whole supply chain thing.
It is, and it's becoming more and more important as more people shop online.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You're right, though, it's not as simple as some people might think.
Yeah.
It's way more than just moving boxes around.
Oh, okay.
Like the RoleCatcher guide we have talks about accuracy and attention to detail being super important.
Okay, good.
You're not just handling the products themselves,
Right.
You're basically the connection between the customer and their order, making sure they're happy when they get it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a good point. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, it's connecting individual customers with their specific order.
Mhm.
Think about it, like the guide says, one day you might be getting orders ready for customers to come pick them up, and then the next day you might be getting completely different stuff ready to be shipped out.
Wow. So it's really different every day.
Yeah, and there are different deadlines and ways things need to be packaged.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's not as simple as it might seem at first.
I'm starting to realize that, yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I also saw in the RoleCatcher guide that I thought was kind of surprising
Yeah.
was that you might be exposed to hazardous materials.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Never would have even considered that.
Yeah, that's a super important thing to think about.
Yeah.
Safety is like the number one thing in a warehouse.
Right, of course.
You have to know all the safety rules and how to handle everything the right way.
I guess so.
It's not just about how fast you can move stuff around.
Yeah,
It's about being safe and doing it the right way.
that makes sense. So it seems like there's a lot more to it than you might think at first.
Yeah, for sure.
But like once you learn all that stuff, is there room to move up? Like actually build a career out of this?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, good.
That's one of the things I really liked about this RoleCatcher guide.
Yeah.
They actually lay out these 3 different stages your career can take.
Yeah, okay.
You start out at the entry level, of course.
Right.
Then you move up to junior warehouse order picker.
Okay.
And then eventually, if you stick with it, you can become a senior warehouse order picker.
Senior warehouse order picker.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty impressive.
Yeah, right.
So, like, what does that even mean, though? Like, what does a senior warehouse order picker even do?
Basically, every time you move up a level, you get more responsibility.
Makes sense.
Like when you first start out, it's all about learning the basics,
Mm-hmm.
picking and packing things correctly and quickly,
Okay.
Following all the directions and learning how everything works in the warehouse.
Yeah, build a strong foundation.
Exactly. And then once you're at the junior level, you start getting to do more stuff.
Oh, really? Like what?
You might get to use different kinds of equipment.
Okay.
You'll probably be more involved in loading and unloading trucks, too.
Oh, right.
It's like you're not just doing what you're told anymore. You're actually starting to understand how the whole operation works.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And then when you become a senior warehouse order picker, that's where you really start using your brain.
Oh, how so?
Like the guide was talking about taking initiative.
Right.
You basically get to help decide how the entire warehouse is set up.
Wow, really?
Yeah, to make sure everything is as efficient as possible.
I don't think people realize how much thought goes into all that.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot that goes into it that people don't even think about.
Yeah.
Like one example they gave was setting up a FIFO system.
Oh,
FIFO,
okay.
it stands for first in, first out.
Oh, okay.
Basically, it's a way of organizing all the inventory so that the oldest stuff gets shipped out first.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, so nothing expires and you don't have stuff sitting around in the back forever.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and if you're the one who can figure out how to implement that system and make the whole warehouse run more smoothly, well, that's a pretty valuable skill set.
Yeah, that's not just like mindless labor anymore. That's actually like,
Yeah,
you really have to use your brain for that.
exactly.
So you can really work your way up in this field.
Exactly.
But let's talk about the interview process for a second.
Okay.
Honestly, that's the part I always kind of dread,
Oh, yeah, I get that.
especially if it's been a while.
Yeah.
Since the last time you had to do an interview.
Yeah, it can be nerve-wracking.
Totally.
It's good to be prepared, though.
That's for sure.
And that's another thing I thought was cool about RoleCatcher.
Oh, yeah.
They actually have a bunch of, sample interview questions you can practice with.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and they're all specifically for warehouse order picker jobs.
Okay, cool. So, like, what kind of questions are we talking about here?
Well, some of them are pretty basic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they might ask about how much you can lift
Sure.
or if you've used any kind of warehouse equipment before.
Right.
But then there are some other ones that are more like problem-solving type questions.
It's interesting.
Yeah, like those ones that really make you think on your feet.
Oh, give me an example.
Like, one question was, What would you do if a customer ordered something and we were out of stock?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a good one.
Right.
Yeah.
Or like, how would you handle a customer who's really unhappy with their order?
Yeah, those are tough situations.
Exactly.
You have
Yeah.
to be able to think clearly under pressure.
For sure.
And you have to be a good communicator, too.
Definitely.
Like we were saying before, it's not just about the physical stuff.
Right.
You have to be able to handle the unexpected, too.
It's all connected. Those tougher questions are designed to see if you have those skills, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Like, can you stay calm and think things through when things get stressful?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because that's super important in a fast-paced environment, like a warehouse.
Totally. Speaking of RoleCatcher, though,
Yeah.
they have this thing on their site I wanted to ask you about.
Okay.
Like an AI-powered interview practice tool or
Yeah.
something.
Oh, yeah, that's part of their premium service, I think.
Okay.
It's actually really cool.
So how does it work?
You basically answer interview questions like into your computer,
Okay.
and then their AI thing analyzes how you did.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, it's wild.
So what does it tell you? Like, does it give you a grade or something?
Kind of. It tells you if you spoke clearly,
Oh, okay.
what your tone of voice was like. Even like your body language, I think.
Wow, no way.
Yeah, it's pretty advanced.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like having your own personal interview coach.
Right.
So we've talked about all the human aspects of this job, but we kind of have to talk about the elephant in the room.
Oh, you mean the robots?
Exactly. Like, what's going to happen to warehouse workers as more and more robots start doing these jobs?
Yeah, that's the big question everyone's asking these days.
It's a little scary, to be honest.
I get it, but I honestly think there's no need to worry.
Really?
Like, yeah, automation is changing how things work,
Right.
but at the end of the day, it's about humans and robots working together.
So it's not like robots are just going to take over completely.
No way.
Okay, good.
Think about it. Robots are great at doing the same thing over and over again.
That's true.
Like, they're super efficient at lifting heavy stuff and moving around in a predictable way,
Mm-hmm.
but they can't really think for themselves.
Right.
Like, if a customer has a really complicated problem,
Yeah.
a robot can't handle that the same way a human can.
That's a good point.
And robots definitely can't deal with people's emotions.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, there will always be a need for human workers in warehouses.
That's good to know, but we probably do need to be ready to adapt as things change.
Oh, for sure.
Like, what was that thing RoleCatcher mentioned
Mm.
about certification?
Oh yeah, they said getting certified to operate a forklift is always a good idea.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And also like OSHA safety standards.
Oh, yeah. What does OSHA stand for again?
Occupational Safety and Health Administration.
Right, of course.
They have a lot of rules about workplace safety.
Which makes sense,
Totally.
especially in a warehouse.
Yeah, exactly. And knowing how to use different inventory management software is also a good idea.
So basically, we need to keep learning new things.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's not about like robots versus humans.
Right.
It's more like we can even use our skills to move into different roles.
Exactly. Like maybe even more technical stuff or supervisory roles.
Yeah, because someone has to be in charge of all those robots.
Right. Who knows what the future holds?
So we've learned a lot today.
We have.
Being a warehouse order picker, it's definitely not what I thought it was.
Yeah, it's way more interesting than people realize.
You can build a career out of it.
Totally.
And those human skills we were talking about, being able to solve problems, being adaptable, being a good communicator, those are the things that are really going to make you stand out.
In any job, really.
Yeah, that's true. Well, thanks for diving deep with me today.
Yeah, this was fun.
And for everyone listening, keep an eye out the next time you order something online.
Oh, yeah.
Think about everything that had to happen to get that package to your door.
It really makes you appreciate all those people working behind the scenes.
Yeah, it really does. Until next time, everyone's keep diving deeper.